Belgrade's Maracanã Stadium may not be as big as its Brazilian namesake, but when Red Star have a big match, it's still a cauldron of passion. Orchestrating the team from the sidelines these days is one of the club's most famous former players, Robert Prosinecki. He's been in charge since last year, but while the club was feared across Europe when he appeared in their colours, these days life is more of a struggle.
Yes, it's difficult for me at the moment, but I think we really have much to work on. We need continuity and we need to improve. It's not as if we're going to play so well now that we'd be champions of Europe. No, we have to work. I think that in Serbia, and especially at Red Star, there are still talented players who can be trained up, but you need time for that. But I still hope that Red Star will be in the Champions League one day soon. I'm not saying we'll win it, but playing in the Champions League every year should be the club's target.
Prosinecki speaks from experience. Today the Red Star fans still support their team in huge numbers, especially for the big match against eternal rivals Partizan. But 20 years ago the local contest wasn't the be-all and end-all. Then the whole continent was at their feet as Red Star became the only club from former Yugoslavia to become champions of Europe.
We were in no way average. What average team has ever won the Champions League or the Champions Cup? And then it was a straight knockout, not like now when there are groups. These were top players who later proved themselves by going off to big clubs and playing for them for a long time. Jugovic, Dejan, Mihailovic and all the others, they all went to big clubs. These days Mihailovic is even coaching one of those clubs. We're talking real quality here. We played together for 4 years in all, and this golden generation played 3 years together at the very top. So I think all of us were hugely successful. We played together for 3 years, which shows that continuity is essential. And that's how we did what we did in '91. It was a landmark for the club, as well as a landmark in all our careers.
Prosinecki is now at home in Belgrade, but he came to the city via a circuitous route. He was born in Germany to a Croatian father and Serbian mother, and only arrived in Croatia in 1979 as a 10-year-old. Then, of course, it was part of Yugoslavia, and the youngster, a star in Dinamo Zagreb's system, became part of a very special youth team. In 1987, they went to the FIFA World Youth Cup in Chile and came back with the trophy.
Well, all of us spent a month in Santiago. We were in the same group as Chile, so all our games were played in the same stadium all the way to the final. It was really beautiful. I can't tell you everything, but some of the outcomes were very important for my career. I was voted the very best player, and Zvonimir Boban came second. Šuker was our top scorer, and it showed that we were all well on the way to good careers with our clubs, and that we were all capable of going on to better things. We were all capable of going on to better things with big clubs all over the world.
These days, Prosinecki coaches his team for life in the Serbian league, but back then, Yugoslav football was very powerful. The league contained clubs from what is now 6 separate countries, including Serbia and Croatia. Red Star met Dinamo Zagreb, Partizan took on Hajduk Split. Club football was a victim, albeit a relatively unimportant one, of the wars that tore the country apart.
The league was very strong in those days. There were some very good teams, and former Yugoslavia was a much bigger country. It had 25 million people. There was a much greater choice of players and talent, and a lot was put into the sport. The problem started thanks to the division of Serbia and Croatia, because of the war and everything that happened. Some teams emerged which were not even third division standard, so football in Serbia and Croatia just flopped. That's why clubs from these nations don't have the capacity to play elite games like those in the Champions League or the UEFA Cup. It's a problem because the players here don't have the experience of taking part in top matches.
As the country split, so Prosinecki went abroad. He went to Spain, playing for both Real Madrid and Barcelona, and carved out quite a successful club career. However, it was what happened on the international stage that caught everyone's eye. Prosinecki chose to represent Croatia, the land of his father, and they had enormous success, culminating in a third-place finish in the 1998 FIFA World Cup.
Well, it was more or less the core of the squad from Chile '87 and Red Star's Champions Cup final win in Bari. There were 6 players from that time. These 6 players just continued playing together in the Croatian squad. Of course, there were newcomers as well. There were a few players who'd never had the chance to play in the Yugoslav team, but they were of a very high quality. So we formed a team around a generation that had been together more or less since 1987. There was Boban and there was Shuka. You have Jani, Snimak, and they were all at the World Youth Championship in Chile. I think we achieved a lot for Croatian football. A good generation of players who left a truly profound legacy. It was a success which may be very difficult to repeat, but I hope it can be repeated one day.
Prosinecki wound down his career back in Croatia in 2004 and was very quickly tempted into the world of coaching. First as an assistant with the national team and now back at his old club. But as a Croatian international, how does he find life in Belgrade, the Serbian capital?
Honestly, I don't have any problems here. I've been here for 8 months now, but this really is my city. I know it well, though it may have grown in population, and I see new buildings that have sprung up these days. I lived here for 4 years, and when it comes to Serbia and Belgrade, I've not had a single problem. I've been very well accepted here, and I don't have any feelings of animosity. When I go to Zagreb, I have no problems there. People know that this is my job, and they don't look at things any differently from that. There are still emotions that come into it because they know the history of the players, but I'm proud of playing and succeeding here. Really, I've never had any problems over the last 8 months, and I'm sure I won't have any in the future.
And maybe, just maybe, Serbian football and Red Star could be set for a long overdue renaissance.